Hello collectors, it's Steven here bringing you a review of the Vulcanlog Yugi. His appearance in the dark side of dimensions brought about redesigns of classic characters, and Union Creative hopped on the bandwagon to deliver our hero from the movie, with a plethora of Yu-Gi-Oh figures getting made. With the Figma as a main contender, many wonder if this guy is worth the purchase, so let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. As I said, this design of Yugi is from the new movie, but thankfully, at least for some, it's very similar to the Battle City arc of the series, which most are familiar with the only major difference being the dual disc. Let's take a closer look. Yugi's face looks great with nicely applied decals, and the choker's paint is applied with little to no slop. Thankfully, the hair is nice and spiky, but the back of the head isn't painted. I know some were bitching about that, but whatever, it's not painted. Looking at his torso, though, the paint starts to head a little bit south. It's not entirely applied neatly and leaves a bit to be desired, especially on the jacket. Thankfully, it's a bunch of small spots and small deviations which don't matter too much from a distance, but up close, it's definitely noticeable. His arms look fine, and the dual disc is pretty spiffy. Not a fan of the new design myself, but it looks okie dokie. Some slop, but not too much. Take note, he doesn't come with a normal arm here, just the dual disc. And to wrap everything up, here's a shot of his legs. Overall, not perfect, but he looks alright. Being filled with Revoltech joints, Yugi is engineered pretty well. However, there are a few points of articulation which unfortunately aren't fully usable due to the sculpt, but you're pretty much going to have that with any figure. So let's get into it. First off, for the neck and the head, we have a double Revoltech joint system inside Yugi's head which allows you to move the head around just a little bit. Now, where I said it's unfortunate before is that Yugi has, well, big hair. And he does have this jacket on him. And unfortunately, when you go to move his head back, yeah. And then when you overextend it, the neck likes to pop out. So that is a shame, but you can turn Yugi's head from side to side. Thankfully, we do have some alternate face parts which allow you to sort of get around this, but this is probably the figure's biggest flaw. But it's not all bad from there. Moving down, we do have Revoltech joints for the shoulders, so this way we can raise and lower Yugi's arms. Pretty cool. We also get a little bit of a swivel out of them. We do have Revoltech joints at the elbows. So that's as far inward as they go. And then the wrists are also Revoltech joints, and the hands plug in on a peg. So you're going to get some decent movement out of there. Moving down, we have one joint here for the ab crunch. It's a Revoltech joint, as you would expect. So you can twist and turn Yugi from side to side, and you can hear him clicking forward and back. Continuing down, we do have Revoltech joints in the hips. And similar to the Figma Yugi, unfortunately, the range of movement forward and back is sort of blocked by the actual sculpt itself at the hip. So you're not going to be able to get too much movement, but thankfully, similar to the Dark Magician, you have Revoltech joints in the knees, and look how much that overcomes that small issue. So that's pretty cool. We also get swivels here aside from just the hinge. And then moving on down, we have Revoltech joints in the ankles, so we can get forward and back movement, and we do get ankle rocker movement from side to side, as you can see here. So overall, I'd have to say Yugi's articulation is pretty good. It could be a bit better. Unfortunately, due to the sculpt, we do have a few parts that are blocked, but you're going to be able to put the King of Games into a few neat poses. Moving on to the accessories, Yugi comes with just enough to make a nice package. So first up, Yugi gets this support stand here, which consists of a base, a support arm, and a claw. And you have to put it together, but the big end goes into the base, the little end goes into the claw, and then you wrap it around Yugi, just like that. And surprisingly, it's pretty sturdy, except for, you know, when you roughhouse it like that. So if you want to put Yugi in a rather action-y pose on your shelf, and you're worried about him falling over, this stand will make it all just fine. Now, what's not shown on the box at all, or even in any of the promotional materials, is this little slashing or dashing or whatever you would call it effect part. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Some of you who have older Revoltech figures, you may actually have a few of these. I know with the Rathalos Hunter and I think Vash, they came with this. So it's nice to see a return of this generic effect part with Yugi. And to use it, you just plug it into his foot. And the hole is on the back of Yugi's foot towards the heel. And all you do is you stick the peg into the hole. And just like that, Yugi is actually in an action pose. And what's cool is you can use it sort of as a stand too. Nice support system here. Now, if we're going to have a human character, we need alternate faceplates. And of course, Yugi comes with two. One where he's looking off to the right side and he's all angry, and one where he's smiling looking off to the left. To swap out the faceplates, you're going to have to be very careful. Unfortunately, on mine, there was a quality control issue, and I'll explain to you in a bit. So, to swap the faces, you need to take the front part of the hair off, and he actually looks pretty good without that yellow part. And then, you need to work the faceplate off. I typically do this by moving the ears, like so, just sticking my nail behind. And it's kind of hard to see, but right up here, where the eyes are, you can see there are 2 black marks. The paint glued the face in. Yeah, I had to take a hairdryer, and I broke one of the Revoltech joints in the neck. Yeah, wasn't that great. So anyway, all you do is you line up the pegs with the face, with the holes in the head, just like that. And then you just stick the hair back on, and there you go. Yugi looks a little different now. In the box, Yugi comes with fists, but he also comes with some splayed hand parts, and he comes with card-holding hand parts. To swap out the hands, all you have to do is grab the currently attached hand, pop it off of the joint, and then plug the peg into the hole of the new hand, and there you go. Now, for his right hand, he has a hand which holds 1 card, and for his left hand, he has a hand which can hold a whole hand of cards. So let's take a look at those. And here they are, very simple in design. The paint on the back, it's not too great. As you can see, the edges are not perfect, but then again, considering how small they are, it's not that big of an issue. Flipping them over, we can see that the hand of cards only has decals here for some basic information with the main image there, the text down there, and the name up there. And then for the single card, it's just the same thing. Getting Yugi to hold the cards, however, is a very, very, very labor-intensive process, and it's too long for this review, but I'll try to do it anyway. What you need to do is simply slip the cards in between the fingers. Yep. That's it. Very hard, like I said. Very, very hard. But the display, it's worth it. Now, of course, Yugi's playing with cards, but we all know he's got that dual disc. Yugi actually comes with this really neat card stand. As you can see, there are 3 prongs, and we also get this little card-sized poster for the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. There's nothing really on the back aside from, you know, promotional stuff. So I think this would make a really neat token for the actual trading card game, but such is life. So what you can do is, the 3 prongs are not even, they are staggered, and you just simply slide the card in, like this, and now you can display the card alongside Yugi, and there are several examples of this throughout my Yu-Gi-Oh! Reviews, so you can just take a look at those to see how they actually look. But something I really need to make mention of, I would not suggest doing this with just unsleeved cards. Yeah, I know I've done that in some of my reviews, because this really isn't protective, and over time you're going to bump up these edges, and you're going to dent them, and yeah, not good. So if you're going to display Yugi with an actual trading card, make sure it's protected in some way. Always make sure you use protection. So all in all, like I said, Yugi doesn't come with too many accessories, but I have to say for a display, you get everything that you would really need. Now, the one thing I would say about the Vulcanlog here that puts it slightly over the top of the Figma is that we get this card stand. That's just so awesome, and there are so many awesome combinations you can make. And here's a size comparison for you to show how big he is. Roughly larger than a Figma or Figuarts, but not so much so he can't blend in well. Most importantly, he doesn't tower over the Figma, which some feared, so it's great to have yin and yang displayed on the shelf. So, buy it now, skip it, or wait for a deal. He looks good, though some improvements could be made, and the articulation, if you get used to it, will allow you to pose him however you want. Accessories, while they're definitely not equal in count to the Figma, you're still able to get a great display piece with this figure, most specifically thanks to that card stand. When it's all said and done, the figure may not necessarily be worth the $60 or so price tag it may cost at the time of this review, but it is certainly a nice figure to have, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans should be pleased. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like the video and subscribe. What do you think of the figure? Drop a comment down below and let me know. Interested in picking this one up? Check the description for some really cool links to take you where you need to go. Want to watch some more videos? I picked a few just for you, so click the annotations on your screen right now for more great content. Until next time, collectors!